mid-season
Yeah,
patch
let's
on
do
my.
it. Of
Okay.
course. Yeah, that screwed up a lot of odd reviews. Totally makes sense. Very normal. Okay, so
Yeah.
how's practice been? It's been a little while since we've gone over stuff. How's it been going?
It's been so since the last time we met,
Yes.
about a couple months after that, it went pretty well. I went sort of stagnant in the low to mid masters with DPS, but
Okay.
I think season 10 and 11, I didn't really play that much. I started a new job and then now I'm getting
Yep.
back into it.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. Any questions come up since last time? We talked a lot about like setup. I'm looking at our car positioning. A lot of Sojourn. I'm sure stuff has changed since then. I'm looking at the format. It seems like a lot has changed since then.
Yeah. Since then, I still love playing DPS, but I've been focusing on support lately. I've just had
Yep.
more fun on it.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Um, a lot of my playstyle has been adapted around that of I'm constantly thinking like before and after the fight, where could I be to set myself or my team up for success? Like what would be good for me?
Yes. Okay. And how's that gone? I mean, again, this is not immediately recently. I know you've been taking breaks in the last week,
Mhm.
but in the past month and a half, whatever.
I mean, for the most part, it's gone pretty well. My MMR took a hit since I didn't play for 2 seasons,
Of
and I went
course.
from my placements of support. I think I got like plat 4 and then went up to D2 right now. So it's working out decently.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And I'm looking at Hero Pool as well. You got a lot of those fun supports
Yeah.
on a Curie Juno BAP. What's the playtime breakdown? And obviously, since you've posted that, you've also probably adjusted some things. So what's it looking like? I guess the last solid week that you played.
That would probably be last week. So normally, if I'm going full on practice mode. I'll come home from work, play for 2 to 3 hours. First half an
Nice.
hour is usually just aim training or like a
Okay.
single quick play game. Then I'll jump
Yep.
in a comp.
All right.
On the weekends, maybe like same thing, 3, 4 hours. Just try to practice. Don't overdo it.
Sure, sure. Okay. Yeah, I like that approach. I like that approach. And then in terms of hero pool, obviously you had the four heroes on a Juno BAP.
Mhm.
What is that actually looking like as of recently and like percentage breakdown? I assume there's going to be a couple of ones that are probably dominating the other few.
Majority is Ana, like
Good
nine
choice.
out of 10 times I'll pick her. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What gaps do you fill with the other ones? So what circumstances? I could probably guess, but I'm curious.
Uh, what do you mean by that
So
exactly?
like
Sorry.
when you so that's okay. When you go Kiri, when you go Juno, when you go BAP, when? Under what circumstances?
I don't know if I could put a particular on it, but
Mm-hmm.
I it's very situational because there's been a bunch of games where I'll play Ana and I just don't feel like I'm gaining a lot of value and I'll switch to one of the other three that I'm comfortable with and the game will end up going better most of the time.
Sure. Okay. That might be something to pay a little bit closer attention to. Under what
Mhm.
circumstances do you feel like I'm not getting value out of Ana? Is it the map? Is it the
Yeah.
composition? Is it my team? Because if you see patterns within there, that's probably something that deserves a closer look. Because I do think that Ana is one of the more flexible supports in the entire game. And
Mhm.
it's not that you should never swap, but you should know when you feel the need to swap so that maybe you can make a better educated swap, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe there's a weakness in your gameplay that you need to identify. Like if you feel like I always have to swap on Circuit Royale,
Mhm.
it's probably a map thing, right?
Yeah.
Very, very narrow sightlines. And then, okay, so then what should I swap to? If you decide that this feels terrible with Ana, I'm going to swap Kiriko. Well, Kiriko is going to do even worse than your sightline, right? So that's something to kind of take a careful look at. You go Flashpoint, too fast, too much dive, too much brawl, whatever. Maybe
Mhm.
that's a situation where Kiriko would be more appropriate. So just being a little bit more deliberate about that. You talked a little bit about your playtime. All right, sounds good. I'd like to build confidence, recognize plays that can be made more efficiently, put myself in a position to consistently be able to support my team to win a fight or make a play. I say a mix because I want to recognize how to constantly put myself in a better position in game, figure out what the best play is, etc. I understand sometimes I just try to make the best of a bad situation. Like if half my entire team dies, there's actually nothing I do about it. When metal rings, even if it's the right play, there's almost always a play that can be made to change the fight. Okay, so I like that mindset and I hate that mindset. Let me explain to you the differences. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, I like the mindset of self-responsibility, that there's always something that you could be doing better. Okay? I love that. That's really good from you. What I don't like is I don't like the mindset that you should always be thinking about, like, what could I have done to win that fight? Because
Okay.
sometimes the answer is there's nothing, or sometimes the answer is that that's a gimmicky way of looking at it that might not always work. For example, if I take a good angle, I use my cooldowns in an appropriate manner, I hit my shots, and we lose the fight, I could maybe go back and look at that fight and be like, I didn't know my Winston was going to forget to press primal. I should have hard flanked and killed backline. Yeah, maybe that would have worked, but also you have to put reasonable expectations on your teammates and play the game reasonably well. If you nano your Genji who's in the middle of the enemy backline and he dashes towards you, it wasn't a bad nano, right? It would have been better there to nano your Lucio because it just make the right call. So look at what you could have done better, but don't think about what would have won the fight.
Okay.
All right? Because that's not the goal. The goal is to always make the best decisions, make the best plays, best angles, the best cooldowns, and then let the result speak for itself. All right.
Yeah, I think I hold an unfair standard to myself where I'm like, oh, I could have won the fight if I did this this or this.
That's it. Yeah. What it does is it opens yourself up to hindsight coaching, kind of like I said. I know that Genji example is kind of extreme, but I know a lot of times where that would have won you the fight if you nanoed your Lucy instead of your Genji. But is that a rule you really want to set for yourself? You know, no, you're going to make the best decision with the information that you had, and you should focus on that. Long-term goal is going to hit top 500 for all rules. I don't really stream anymore, but I do have a really good full-time job. I just want to stop at the top of the ladder one of these days. I feel like my mentality and lack of thought process, having to constantly remind myself to stop autopiloting when I'm ready, trying to practice. Okay, so your biggest problem is that you have a job. Okay, you and me both, right? I just had a session previous to this one. We had a similar conversation, right? Like by the time that you play, you are going to be a bit more fatigued. So how can you squeeze the most value out of the time and the energy and the focus that you have right now? Okay, that's the question. Is it sleep? Is it setting more reasonable expectations for yourself? Is it taking breaks between games? Is it one of the things I made for I was working with some 45-year-old dad, and I came up with the 2-fight rule. You just have to focus on your positioning, or fill in the blank, right, for the first 2 fights every game. That's it. It's okay to autopilot for the rest, but can I squeeze the most value out of what I can? All right. Set reasonable expectations with what you can do. I think if you feel like I physically feel like I cannot focus for longer than an hour, then maybe you shouldn't be playing for longer than an hour.
Okay.
And if you do want to play for longer than an hour, maybe you shouldn't be practicing. You just be playing for fun. So practice for an hour. I'm feeling tired. I'm losing focus. I took a break still. Okay, then just off roll or quick play or just if you want to keep playing ranked, okay, just don't set any expectations on yourself. You're just not going to play at the highest level. That's all right.
That makes sense.
You can't beat yourself up too much because you know a lot of mental energy is going into the first 2/3 of the day, right? And so that's just how it goes. It's all right. You're already a phenomenal player, you know. So
thank you. I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think part of it is definitely being tired from work. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have a job that I love and love doing. So I have a great amount of energy. Nice. It's a great feeling having that.
It is, yes. Yes.
But I'll come home, I'll have a decent amount of energy, and I'll play for 2-3 hours. The thing, I think I worded that a little improperly. I'll play out of 3-4 games, and I'll be fine, but I'll realize either certain points during those games or afterwards, I don't think it's a lack of focus. I think I just slip into autopiloting because I'll make a play or die or do something, and then right after I'll realize, wait, I was just going through the motions. I wasn't actually thinking about what I was doing there.
Right.
And I made a bad play, whatever, but yeah.
So there's two ways of looking at that. One is the exact same thing that I just said. Why did you slip out of focus? Because a lot of that is, I needed to be more disciplined. Well, you're just tired. You're just tired. That's it. Okay? That's reality. Like, that's how it goes. Like, I just streamed the other 2 days ago a lot of Ana gameplay, coincidentally, and I kept, the later the games were, I was kind of ranting and raging because, it's funny. But, like, my gameplay drastically dropped in quality. Dropped in quality. Because by the time I started playing, I'd already been working for, like, 6 or 7 hours. And then, obviously, I played for, like, 2 or 3 hours. So, like, it tanked, right? That's just how it is. Like, I know the mistakes I'm making. I can see myself in slow motion, but it's not enough. Okay? Yep. The other one, which could be a good one, is that you talked a little bit about, I have the skills to rank up and keep improving, but I think my nerves are self-doubt. Feels me to consistently fail in an attempted play. I don't really feel like I have a thought process you talk about.
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate criticism. Maybe you autopilot because you don't really have a direction. So that one may or may not be related to fatigue. It may just be you don't have a thought process. It may be both. It probably is both, to be honest with you. So that one we can address. That one we can improve. That one we can be like, okay, you don't really, the reason you're autopiloting is because you're tired, but also you have nothing else to latch onto, no direction. with your own gameplay. What do you think?
I agree. I'll be in games where I'm like, okay, I know I need to get value. I can create a play if I ante at the right time or if I sleep so whatever.
Sure.
I have the ability to make plays, put myself in a good position. But there's some points where, like you said, you see it in slow motion, you do something that you know you should have done differently, but it's too late by the time you do it.
Right.
And there are some games where it's just you have a bad team, whatever, you can't do a lot and you have no direction. You try to do as much as you can, but you can't. But for the games I was thinking about where I'm like, I am the problem in this game. I could be doing more. I don't know why I'm not thinking right now. I don't know how to identify the core reason behind that.
Right, right. And it could just be that you don't really have a clear guideline of what you're supposed to be accomplishing with Ana. Okay, so if you want a clear guideline here, okay, find an angle. Like, it doesn't have to be a flank here, but like find an angle, find a sight line, and apply pressure in the best way that you know how.
Yeah.
That's it. So you need to always be asking yourself, am I in the best position for success? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. You said you don't have a code. I don't care.
That works.
You're gonna make fun of me. All right.
Okay.
Let's look at a goofy one. Which of these maps stands out to you? Any of these ones? They're all messy.
I feel Blizzard World,
All right,
definitely.
let's do it. It's not a good game for me. I'm warning you.
Okay.
Am I in an angle to apply pressure? Am I succeeding with that angle? Now, again, it's not going to be your mistakes necessarily, but it's still the practice thought. Okay, so ignore composition for just a little bit.
Okay.
Nice try, ball. Can't catch me sleeping. Am I in an angle right now to apply pressure?
Yeah, you could turn the corner, put pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, even not even, right? I can heal and damage right from here. I got squishies here. I got a ball here. Okay. Should I look for an anti-nade or a sleep dart here?
My mind, I would wait because your monkey jumps, so I feel like they're gonna jump off height.
Yep, seems good to me. Let's keep going. What do you think about this?
I would open the angle a little bit more to your left as long as the ball drops.
So basically shoot from here, and then at some point I want to be moving this direction.
Yeah, look for an ante
right.
from that angle.
The goat. Thoughts?
That worked out perfectly then.
Okay, but yeah, but what about right now?
Your positioning or
Yeah, sure, why not?
that's air trace. If I was in this, yeah, this is exactly what I would have done. Rotating
Why?
here.
Why?
You have a little more cover you can play with. You can go up on height, take an angle there, or loop around to your monkey, help him.
And technically I still got an angle here, right? In theory, right? If I want to commit to something here. And I end up hitting this, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
So far, so good, right?
Yep. Majority of their team is dead and making
And
sure you don't.
obviously, like, my team is playing well, which helps, but I do good thing, even if it's not very flashy, and we win game, okay? Brilliant.
Yep.
All right? What do you think about this?
Yeah, before pressure, before the fight,
To on what? From where?
from they're going to be spawning at second point doors, so I like just not full engaging because they're still right under you, but I don't like your monkey.
Well, right, yeah, my monkey was kind of an idiot this game, I'm not gonna lie, but does this angle make the most sense? Was there a better angle available to me? And this is where I really want to pull you out a little bit here. I want you to prove to me that you're paying attention. Does this angle make the most sense? Was there a better angle available to me?
I feel like if you followed your monkey, you would have gotten more value
Like here?
from. Actually, no, I'm lying. If you went height on bridge,
So, like here.
yeah.
Too
Or
exposed, to be honest with you. Too naked.
Okay.
For now, anyway. Like, I wouldn't want to be here long term. But you said almost something else? What else?
I was thinking the bridge right above their Juno.
Oh, so just
Like-
full commit. Like, full commit.
Like
Honestly,
holding-
okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. There's a
look
risk.
for-
There's a reward for the risk, right? Like, let's not lie. There's a risk here, but at least I full commit, and in theory, at least I could get to cover from here, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. I think here I expected to see anybody. I didn't see anybody, and so I just kind of like, well, I mean that's nice, I guess, but now I'm just kind of floating, right? I didn't have a. My next step was like, oh well, crud, what do I do? And this is obviously just me being, you know.
Trying to get out.
The voices, you know, I get a little bit egotistical with it. Let's put it that way. All right. Do I have an angle here? What do you think?
For right now, yeah, you have an angle on two.
Looks good to me. Looks good to me. My team is kind of trolling, but honestly, not too shabby for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Again, right? We literally just were here, so it's fine.
Interesting minds.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts?
I like the chase. You know that she was down on blinks because she was fighting your tracer and just use recall.
So this is the moment of truth, right? This is it right here. What do you think?
Yeah. This is a perfect angle.
I think so too.
But part of my brain goes to why are we pocketing a full HP Ash?
Well, I'm thinking, I can tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm thinking about nanoing her as soon as she gets pressured, okay?
Okay.
The problem is what? What's happening right now, and what's the quality of my positioning right now with the information that I have?
Half of your team is pushing up, and you're still on the same angle, and you can't see any of the enemy.
So my angle is like actually garbage right now. Like I'm not contributing at all because I can't see anything. So actually, this nano is okay-ish, but then...
Oh god.
Yeah. Welcome to Spilo on a gameplay. I have zero respect whatsoever. And so the nano is actually fine. The nano is like, I don't know, it was honestly fine. But my angle was not. Why?
Kind of just walk straight into them.
Yeah, just walk straight into it. Even if I play here, I need to be way more respectful about the cover and tuck towards here, or frankly, nano the Ash and walk this way if I really wanted to be concerned about myself. It just wasn't a good rotation for me. Like it's exposed, it's naked, and even if we don't win this fight, I should have lived a lot longer, right? It was just a bad rotation, right? It was a bad rotation, right?
Yeah, I do that same thing. I hold W, I walk up, I'm like, why am I here right now?
Right. So again, the problem is the thought process isn't there for me. Like I needed to know, okay, what's the next step? Not just, okay, I have a good position. Okay, then what's the next step?
Yep.
I've got it here. So it's okay to me. Okay, maybe not. Now, initially I liked this one.
Yep.
But what was wrong with it?
Predictable.
Maybe predictable, but I wouldn't go as far as that. Where are the enemies?
You only see two of them.
That's the thing, I just don't know. I think I know where Wrecking Ball is. I was not expecting Tracer to be here, and to be fair, she did have an ultimate, which definitely makes things complicated.
Yeah.
But it was just, it's too close, right? It's too close. I didn't have information before I rotated, and that is a problem when you're playing a support. You need information before you just blindly rotate.
Yeah.
Because you got to kind of fill that gap, right? You can't just rotate blindly and say, oh, I'm going to ego everybody there. Well, questionable. Angle here's fine.
I agree. That Zen is...
Got cover. Yeah, got to deal with that first. I mean, he's got the Spilo gene, I think.
I guess so.
That is exactly what I would be doing. This is where I was like screaming at my Winston. Well, why are you going in? This guy Primals then keeps going at 20 HP. Seems good. Surely I'll hit the sleep dart.
Certainly.
Okay, maybe not necessary. I'm thinking about nanoing. I don't nano or nano because I just don't think he should have died.
Yeah.
And
oh.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, in terms of my thought process, this plan, maybe some of the details are executed poorly, but I think my team just sucks. Go next. And see, this is where, like, okay, were there things that I could have done better? Absolutely, you know? But whether it was my Cassidy or my Baptiste messing up his clip there, or the Winston failing to hit a single alternate fire, whatever the case may be, this kind of goes back to my previous point to where, like, I have made so many mistakes in this game that I need to focus on. I can't hindsight coach myself because we didn't win this fight. I have to go, I think I did okay. I made the right, reasonable decisions. I got to focus on the next fight. I can't get distracted with what theoretically would have won. Because you know what would have won this fight? Me nanoing the Cassidy. But you know what doesn't make any sense there? Nanoing the Cassidy. He's 2/3 HP. He has his cooldowns. He shouldn't die to a Tracer one clip. I'm sorry. You should know how to... Like, that. If I nano him, the Tracer blinks out, and now we get no nano value, right? So, like, that's hindsight coaching right there. So, it is what it is. We go next. Now, surely I don't blindly rotate here, right? Okay, I have a
Not
little.
yet.
I hear Genji. I hear Tracer. I'm okay.
Mhm.
My Tracer gets one left. Thoughts so far?
I would have done the same thing of being cautious when you saw the ball rolling towards you, and now you hear the tracer behind you.
I actually gotta know. I gotta know. I actually did not watch this in the moment. I have to know. I knew it. I knew it. I knew she got one clipped. I'm like looking at the kill feed like that shouldn't happen.
Wow.
It is what it is. But you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Where like you can't look at this and be like, I should. It happens.
Yeah. Like there is self-accountability, but it's not always all on you.
Right. You ready for an ugly one?
Ooh. Ooh.
You know, and I literally mean ugly one because where was my attention right now? And honestly, where should my attention been?
That tracer, that's just poking at you.
I agree. I walked right past her. She's in post recall. Maybe toss a nade here, but I really should not be turning my back to this guy.
Yeah.
I think that's just really lazy and sloppy of me. Like, I know I'm under panic, but I probably just chuck a nade here and then turn around and deal with this, right? Get one pot shot here and then relax, you know?
Yeah, force her recall link or do something.
I miss a bunch of shots. You know, and it really comes back to bite me. Now, spoiler alert here. We almost win this fight. Legitimately, we almost win this fight. If I'd lived even a little bit longer or killed the Tracer or forced her out, I actually think we win this fight. And it was just poor attention under pressure, right? Like, I panicked and I worried too much about my team instead of my own self-preservation. My Brig would have built rally. We probably win that fight. That's where I need to take accountability, right? That's where I need to take accountability. Okay, you ready for a little bit more ugly?
Okay.
Okay. So your thought process here is take a sight line, make good decisions from the sidelines. You're not coaching me, okay? So I'm not going to extrapolate my mistakes onto what you do with Ana necessarily. But we're around the same rank, okay? This is Masters 5, you're Diamond 2. This is going to be similar errors. So what you could do is you go back and you look at your replay codes and you look, okay, what are some things that I can clean up? What about my thought process needs to improve? What do you think? Does this position make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. View over everybody. Heal your team. Do damage. Get cooldowns out. There's no reason for you to push up ahead or do anything extra.
You see it?
Yeah.
What happened?
I have two thoughts. One is should have rotated earlier or just gone around through the archways.
I agree. A little detail too is notice that I miss an anti-nade. I go for an anti-nade and miss an anti-nade and then rotate.
Yep.
Probably not the best combo versus anything that has dive, right? Like I've exposed myself to like if I have nade here, I'm probably okay. Because I could just nade myself right there, Genji's out, I make a safe rotation.
Yep.
This is really stupid. This is just a poor rotation, and I agree with your analysis. I either needed to rotate sooner or rotate with a little bit more respect. This fight is really ugly for my entire team, I'm warning you. So I'm thinking I'm going to push forward and hold here. What do you think about this position?
It's honest. I don't mind it because you don't have any mobility. You're not too far up, but also they do have a ball and a dive comp.
Now, spoiler alert here. So I hit the nade, I missed some shots, I missed the sleep third, and then my Sombra misses her hack, misses her virus, and then leaves.
Oh
my John Gret doesn't hit a single mine, I'm pretty sure, and then I just die because my Brigitte is somehow guarding back here for whatever reason, who knows why. So, but yeah, again, for my responsibility, I needed to hit the easy sleep dart. I probably needed to rotate back to away as they pushed forward, and I needed to hit a shot or two, right? That's it. It was just poor use of my cooldowns, right? Poor use of my cooldowns and probably a little bit silly with my positioning. Now it gets worse. What do you think about this rotation?
Questionable.
Okay. Where should I go now? Where's my angle?
My first instinct of how my autopilot brain would just go forward in the main.
Right. What would be the downside of that potentially?
You can get dove really easily.
So what could I do better in my rotation? No autopilot brain. Again, this is where your thought process needs to develop. I'm looking for an angle. I'm looking for a sight line. I don't really have it right now. So where should I go?
Go back up to height.
Go back up to height. Do you think I have time to do that? You get my point,
You
right?
one dead each. Yeah, you're in the middle of
Yeah,
fight
I,
now.
I, I, I don't think I do, right? I don't
Yeah.
think I do. So what's the best possible compromise that I can make? What's the best possible sightline I can get right now?
Back up 2 steps and try to support your team.
Sure, I could take an angle here and just hold the angle, hope that something happens here. Let's see what I
Yeah.
do. I actually don't remember here. So it ends up working out okay.
Hmm.
Now you and I have a similar thought. You see this? I'm thinking about going top, and I go, okay, no, I'm going to directly cut to here.
Hmm.
Now where do I need to go from here?
Now that they're resetting, I would back up a little bit.
To where? Be specific.
I think under the bridge.
Go under the bridge. Frankly, I think this is also fine too, as well. Better
Okay.
than where I was earlier. I just need cover, right? Like this is where your thought process needs to go. I need to sightline with cover. I need sightline with cover. I can't stay here. This is not safe. This is better.
Yeah.
This is much better. There's also a little bit of distance between myself and where that tracer comes from. And that matters, right? That pot shot there matters a lot. Huge missed opportunity from there. I wasn't really sure who he was going for. I wasn't sure if I heard him, but I didn't know where. I thought he was here.
Yeah.
So then I'm thinking nano brig, and then I get caught surprised. That's just really bad for me. Nade or nano saves this fight. So that's funny. But because I've screwed up my rotation, and I'm thinking, oh no. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh shit, I
man.
thought that she had just finished her remake, and no, I mistimed it. So a little bit late on the rotation, a little bit late on the blade. One trade kill here, and we get a recontest. We don't get it. So if you were coaching me on my thought process, keep it simple. What needs to be done better? Not a lot of gameplay footage, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
from what you've seen.
The couple things, I guess, more mindful rotations on, especially depending on whether you have your cooldowns or not.
Ah, great point. So I'm taking better positions around my cooldowns. Okay, either aggressive when I have them, or a little bit more careful, cautious when I don't. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
Take a breather for a half second and land your shots or your sleep
Yep.
dart.
Yep, panicking on easy sleeps. Yep, good
Yep.
point. What else? Anything else? Those are the big ones, right?
I think those were the two big ones I could think about.
I agree. And see, that's it, right? Like you've established what I need to clean up in my thought process. I'm definitely looking for angles. I'm definitely looking for sightlines, looking for value, but I'm making serious mistakes along those rotations, along those decisions.
Yeah.
Now, I'm here to kind of help you yell at me, which was nice, and you kind of have to do that by yourself. But you know what you're looking for with Ana.
Yep.
And so even if you're not even sure of what mistakes that you generally make, I do think that you would benefit from making sure, does this position make sense? Where should I go? Where should I go? Where should I go? Where should I go? Does that cooldown make sense? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? You say that you don't really have a thought process, and you're looking for me for help on that thought process, which I appreciate. But also, I think you have the tools to be able to develop that or work on that or improve on that yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like I didn't really give you a whole lot of insight here, and this is my gameplay, right? This isn't even your gameplay, right? Now it's easy to lose that sense of objectivity when you're looking at your own gameplay for sure, but I think you can do it. I think you can do it.
I agree. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I get in the game, or say I rank up, like when I hit M4 on DPS, I'm like, oh my god, I've never been in this rank. Like, do I deserve to be here? And questioning that, and then that affects my mentality through the game. And of course, 9 out of 10 times it makes me lose because I'm questioning myself, and I
Well, you're
realize
distracted.
that. But
You're distracted, right? Like you're not focusing on what you need to do. I mean, reality is that if the game puts you in M4, you belong there, right? You might have gotten a little lucky to get there, but you've done something that the game deserves to be there. So the game doesn't, like if this was bronze or grandmaster in terms of the end goal of Ana gameplay would be the same.
yeah,
The exact same principles would apply. The game doesn't change. So it's not so much that like, oh, I need to believe in myself. I don't care if you believe in yourself, man. I really don't. You know, just do your job. Just do your job. You get into a top 500 streamer game, you're the fraud. Guess what? The enemy team is a fraud too. Does it mean that you shouldn't go for offensive anti-nades? Absolutely not. You need to go for them. The game is expecting you to go for them. The game is expecting you to go for them and then die immediately because you screwed up or you miscalculated or they punished. But you need to play the game.
yeah.
You know?
Still got to play the game how it's meant to be.
Right. And I think the key thing here is that when I asked you to go for this, is it's not like you need to develop some brand new thought process. You need to find what you're missing. So if I were to take your coaching for this and then play games today, I would be a little bit more thoughtful about my rotations around the status of my cooldowns for as many games as I could. Or I would be a little bit more thoughtful about slowing down my sleep dart. Thank you for your coaching. That's what needs to improve with me, right? Yeah. So for you, it's not so much like developing a thought process from scratch, because you already probably have an idea of what you ought to be doing, but when you don't, what goes wrong? For you described, honestly, more of a psychological reason than a game decision reason. I don't think there's anything wrong with my thought process. I'm generally a little bit overconfident, maybe. But for you, it's like I have these games where I feel like, or these ranks where I feel like I start to like actively sabotage my own gameplay because I lack confidence. Don't have confidence in yourself to perform. Have confidence that the decisions that you're making are the correct decisions. I should go for an anti-nade there. I missed it because I suck, but next time I'm confronted with that exact same decision, I'm going to do it again because it's the right decision, right? It's the right decision, right? That's the thing, right? You don't go, oh, if I just not had taken that risk, we would have won the fight. Yeah, because that mindset's going to lose you a lot of other fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, easier said than done. Easier said than done, but you have to trust the objective truth and not worry about if you're good enough to consistently apply it. It's still the correct decision. Do it again and again and again.
Yeah, I got to work on that because there's been a ton of games where I'll get like 4 or 5K as Ana in Diamond 2, and I'm like, I know I'm good at this game. I can do it. I'm doing it right now.
Of course.
And then other games, I fall apart.
Right. And other games, but the question is just why, right? Like, are you put under more pressure? And then do you second guess yourself? Like, just keep doing it. Trust the process, right? Trust the process. Like, I play like this. I'm not saying that this gameplay is good, but you know what? When I have anti-nade or when we're pre-fight, I'm always looking for a position for value. Yep. I'm not thinking about, oh, am I going to cost this game? No. Like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to troll the lobby, or I'm going to carry the lobby, but I'm going to keep doing the same thing. And, I don't play this game very much, but that is the proper mindset, right? Like, that's the one good thing I guess I got going for me, all right? We'll not talk about my sleep darts, or my nanos for that matter. But that's kind of like where you need to be too, right? Like, I don't know if I'm going to always execute on the right thing, but I do know what the right thing is. So I'm going to keep doing it.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it doesn't mean that you can't get better, right? It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that, oh, that nade was perfect. Maybe it was a stupid nade, but don't call it a stupid nade because you missed it. Don't call it a stupid nade because you died. Call it a stupid nade because you naded, whiffed it because you didn't aim it, and then decided to rotate, like me, right? That was a dumb nade because I tried to rotate afterwards. It wasn't a dumb nade because going for offensive value is bad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, more than that, like, obviously we don't have any gameplay to look at here, but I hope if nothing else, it gave you something to chew on or think about a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. That did put it into a different perspective for me.
And see, this is all secret because now you're paying me to coach me, right?
Yeah.
So this is my ulterior motive. Thanks for the Grandmaster, by the way.